The value of a college education. Records show that the oldest college in the world is the University of Al Qarawiyyin in Fez, Morocco, established in 859. The oldest college in the United States of America is Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, established in 1636. Therefore, in the United States since 1636, students have been encouraged to attend a form of higher education. However, some may wonder, what is the value of a college education? Is a 4-year undergraduate degree the only choice? What benefits are there to community college or technical schools? What if I want to join the military after high school? Students across the country and the globe are faced with these questions every day. And if these questions aren't enough, with the ever-increasing cost of higher education, many students and adults are beginning to wonder if the high costs of tuition are worth the thousands of dollars in accumulated debt. While the country still struggles in economic turmoil, many families are having a difficult time making ends meet without the additional cost of college. Therefore, in order for students to determine whether or not higher education will be an asset to them, they need to examine the advantages and disadvantages. In 2010, the College Board published a study titled Education Pays 2010, The Benefits of Higher Education for Individuals and Society. The report is one of several in a series and discussed many benefits of higher education based on a research collected over time. Among many items, it focused on how a college degree affects one's earnings and tax payments, employee benefits, voter participation, and one's health. The report stated that, quote, the median earnings of bachelor's degree recipients working full-time, year-round in 2008 were $55,700, $21,900 more than the median earnings of high school graduates. With all this information available to students, teachers, and parents, people are still faced with the need to make a decision. To better understand the logic behind the decisions people end up making, students, faculty, and administration from Coventry High School in Coventry, Connecticut, as well as undergraduates at Eastern Connecticut State University, were interviewed.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Dano and I'm a senior at Coventry High School.
And what are your plans after your senior year?
College.
Hi, I'm Carly Dantas and I'm a senior at Coventry High School.
Carly, what are your plans after high school for education?
I plan on going to college.
Hi, my name is Claire Hall and I'm a junior at Coventry High School.
And have you given any thoughts to furthering your education after high school?
I have. Either I'm going to go to college in Boston or New York City.
Hi, I'm Dan Bullock. I'm a sophomore at Coventry High School.
Have you given any thought as to whether or not you plan on attending college after high school?
Well, I'd like to go to college after high school.
Hi, my name is Michael Clausen, and I'm a junior right now.
Michael, have you given any thoughts to your plans after high school?
I have. I've been thinking that I want to go to a 4-year college, but I'm not really sure what college I want to go to yet.
University of Tampa.
And how did you make that decision?
It's warm down there.
What do you plan on studying?
Either marine biology or forensic science.
I'm looking at Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston.
And what made you choose this college?
They have a really good architecture program and that's what I want to do, so it was kind of like an easy choice for me.
Hi, my name is Jo Marie Hoffman and I'm a senior at Coventry High School.
And what are your plans as far as furthering your education after high school?
I would like to go to college for art education so I can be a high school art teacher if I ever grow up. And I applied to CCSU, Temple, Bridgewater State, and UMass Dartmouth. And I got accepted to Central, but I don't know about the other 3.
Out of the other 3 or out of all 4, do you have a first choice?
Temple, all the way.
I'm Jennifer King. I'm a psychology major at Eastern Connecticut State University.
What made you choose to go to Eastern?
I actually transferred to Eastern my sophomore year. I went to another school in Massachusetts. I just didn't really like it very much. And Eastern, I just wanted like a smaller school with smaller classes.
You want to go to school in a city?
Because we live in a small town and the career choice that I want to do is better for a city.
What kind of career are you looking at?
a communications degree, which would turn into a public relations career.
I mainly am interested in pre-law, law school, and like criminal justice type degrees because my ambitions in life are to become a FBI agent, analyst, or maybe a police detective.
What has influenced you to make this decision?
Just seeing how much crime there is in the world and wanting to put an end to as much of it as possible.
Hi, I'm Trisha Donahue, and I'm a junior at Eastern Connecticut. I took a psychology class junior year and was very interested in it, so I figured that I would take it the second one senior year, and I still liked it a lot, so I decided that was going to be my major. Only applied to Eastern for Connecticut school, Eastern and UConn, and the rest were out of state, and I was going to do an out-of-state school but decided it was way too expensive, so I had to choose between a small school and a big school, and Eastern's a lot smaller than UConn, so I decided I liked that a lot better than the big school.
I thought about going to Ivy League colleges. I thought about not going to Ivy League colleges, so it's up in the air, basically.
Do you have any interest or idea of what you want to do in college as far as a major?
I know what I don't want to do. I don't want to go into business, and I think I want to stay away from math and sciences, and more of an English history-oriented kind of person, and I've definitely thought about like the teaching field and all the opportunities that it's got.
I think the program is designed for a 4 or 5 year program, and it really prepares you to get a job right out of college.
And what made you decide to go to a 4-year college versus going like community school?
Mostly parents saying you don't have an option.
Hi, I'm Mr. Stegman, Coventry High School. I teach in the math department.
When you were a senior in high school, what were your post-high school plans? Did you always plan on being a teacher?
When I was in high school, I actually did not want to become a teacher. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to use the mathematics that I always had a love for in engineering. It was not until I saw the sticker price of colleges that were the engineering schools that I applied to that said that I would get some federal aid that I did not get any for, that I changed my major to education, and pretty glad I did. I was able to get a cheaper education and something that I would be able to use that I love.
Hi, I'm Gary Baumgartner. I'm a social studies teacher at Coventry High School. When I was a senior in high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do other than leave high school. I was tired of getting up in the morning and going to class and doing things that I really didn't see any point in doing. Of course, knowing what I know now, things would have been a little different. After graduating from high school, I entered the United States Navy and, of course, spent my time in the service. It was a very good experience. I'm glad I did it. Probably the best thing I ever did. And when I was done with the Navy, I did work in a factory for a couple of years. And I figured out that that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. At that point, I decided that I did want to attend school, go back to school, and of course, by this time I was 23 years old, so a little bit later when I went back to school. My first experience with school was with a 2-year technical school. So upon graduating from the Art Institute, I immediately enrolled into a teacher program at a 4-year college.
Hi, I'm Christine Kendall, and I'm an English teacher. I was really unsure with what I wanted to do after school, after high school, so I decided to enroll taking classes at MCC. Initially, I was interested in business, and then I switched my major to psychology. After that, after a year of school, I dropped out and I got married and I had a family. And it wasn't until a few years after that where I decided that going back to school was the right thing for me to do.
And where did you decide to go back to school?
I started back up at MCC. I was a little nervous going to school with students who are a lot younger than I was. So I started at MCC, and once I received my associate's degree, I transferred over to Eastern, where I continued taking English classes. I majored in English.
Heather McIntosh, and school counselor at Coventry High School.
And when you were a senior in high school, did you have post-high school plans? Did you always think you were going to be a guidance counselor?
I was involved in a peer advocacy program in high school, so we actually had an office in the guidance office in our high school. So I had some idea then that I did want to be a guidance counselor. I went and majored in psychology as my undergrad, and then I took a few years off because I wasn't sure at that point if that's really what I wanted to do. Took a few years off, did a couple of other things. I worked with autistic kids for a while, doing therapy with them, and then ultimately decided to go back to grad school for school counseling.
Well, hi, I'm Michelle Mullally. I'm the principal at Coventry High School.
And when you were a senior in high school, did you plan on becoming a principal? Did you think you would just be a teacher?
I always wanted to be a teacher. Well, most of my high school years, I wanted to be a teacher. And during the junior year of high school, I used to love to read. I used to love to learn. I used to love literary criticism, and I like kids a lot. So I wanted to be an English teacher, and that I was just really dedicated and motivated by that all through college. And once I did start teaching, I taught for a long time. I got in some leadership positions, but I always really loved teaching. And so along the way, I was encouraged to, think about curriculum work, think about school administration. But there are moments I'm still conflicted and think I should be teaching, Emma.
Actually, I spent a year at Northeastern in Boston. Really liked the school. I had a really good experience, but ended up deciding to come home, and I graduated from UConn for my undergrad.
I did 4 years at Western Connecticut State University.
I started at MCC, and once I received my associate's degree, I transferred over to Eastern.
I went to UConn. Went through the honors program. It was really a good choice. I'm first generation college in my family, and there were a lot of other programs that were attractive to me, but I could afford to go there, and I've got a really good education.
I think there are both benefits and drawbacks to attending a four-year college or a technical school. Technical schools have seemed to be showing an increase as far as people attending them and the different types of schools that exist. And I think one of the reasons that is are people don't want to go the traditional four-year college route. I think one of the other reasons is if you can learn a trade and open up your own business, you can do very well, in some cases better than people with a college degree.
I think it definitely depends on the student what they want to do. There are many paths that you could take in life, and the career or the college choice is really dependent upon the career choice that you want to make, what you want to do in life.
In my circumstance, I grew up in a real blue-collar family. I have 3 younger brothers. I'm first-generation college. I have been able to have the privilege of being able to help people in my family because I have a good job, well educated, and that feels really good to be able to be helpful in one's family.
I encourage everyone to pursue some sort of extra post-high school education. I know that a 4-year college right out of high school, or even a 2-year college right out of high school, isn't for every student. Sometimes a tech school is going to be better suited for a student. Sometimes a gap year program like Peace Corps or City Year or something like that is better for a student before that, or sometimes the military. So I think everybody should have some sort of post-high school plan, but I don't think necessarily college is for everyone, although I think that it's more difficult to get a job and be successful without some sort of post-high school education.
So college graduates today have a tougher task. It can't be just enough to attend college and graduate. You have to do something in college to set yourself apart. You have to get grades that are exceptional in college that will set you apart from your peers. So when you sit down for that career interview, not the job interview, big difference between a career interview and a job interview. When you sit down for that career interview, you better have something that's going to make your employer or your future employer remember you, because they're going to look at 20 college graduates for that position. So what is it about you that makes it hard for them not to hire you?
Higher education, whether it's technical schools, trade schools, 4-year colleges, for everything and anything that you want. I definitely recommend that after high school, everybody should go to a higher form of education.
It is no secret that there are numerous paths students can follow or create after high school. The important aspect is that you are the one to customize your own personal future. Will you enroll in college right after high school? Take a trip abroad? Join the military? Attend a trade school? Whichever path you choose is yours to decide. Remember, it's your future you're creating, so make every choice count.